Welcome in, guys. JE Live, and I figured, you know what? We are just going to do a Q&A, right? We're just going to do a Q&A because that's what we do on a Victory Monday. Welcome in. Hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's show, despite the fact that I did not have much of a voice. Appreciate you guys hanging out and just, going through it because, man, it was painful. I'm not going to lie. It was painful. I re-listened to some of it, and it was bad. So you guys are too kind that said the voice wasn't a big deal. It was a big deal. Trust me. So we got a bunch of fun stuff planned on the show this week. Already confirmed guests. Blaine Grisak, the managing editor of Downtown Rams, is coming back on the show. I'll be doing a show with him later on the week, as well as Alexis Kraft, my co-host for the Downtown Rams podcast. So she will be here on Saturday night. We're going to be doing a Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time stream. I'm trying to get some other people on, but we're going to try to. I'll be on a bunch of shows as well, so you'll see me CG Ruthless. I'm going on his show, his Niners show. I'm going on Ashton's show, Ram Fan Ashton, and I was just on Sports Grid earlier today. So we'll be on Sirius XM at 11 p.m. Eastern time to cover the Rams 49ers game Wednesday. So be sure to check that out as well. But yeah, wow, it's just going to be a busy week, and I'm really excited with everything going on, and, just excited to get into it, How is everyone doing? How is everyone's Monday? What's up, DXNES? How we doing? See how many likes we can get before Jake is officially live? Yeah, that didn't work out well, did it? Scott, what's up? Jazz, how we doing? Oh, nice. I like that. D, how we doing? What's up, Pineapples? Mike? I've honestly seen the final deep throw from Matthew Stafford more times than I can count. It's been on repeat for me. So yeah, I I totally hear you. I love it. I went through yesterday on Twitter because I'm tired of people saying things and acting like, oh, well, time will pass and no one will care. And I'm not talking about cancel culture. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when you go and you run your mouth and you say, ooh, Matthew Stafford, talk about bad Stafford. Or, it's just a strong-arm Jared Goff. Or my favorite, Matthew Stafford, what if the whole time we were just giving too many excuses for him and he's really not that good? Yeah, about that. Yeah. What a throw. In the face of pressure, what a catch by Cooper Kupp, what a kick by Matt Gay, what a win by the Rams. 36-year-old Sean McVay can enjoy his Victory Monday. And Sean McVay is probably, I'm sure he's doing something for his birthday, but let's call it like it is. This dude loves football. He's probably studying football as well and getting ready for the game and not wasting any time. Wouldn't surprise me at all. He's just a different animal. And when you have a guy who's 36 years old, who's 2 years younger than Belichick when he got his start at head coach, and it already has, three different coordinators three different coaches have become head coaches from his coaching tree. Two of which were in the playoffs this year, one of which almost made the playoffs his rookie year, and one of which has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Sean McVay is really just killing it. He really is. Anybody that's ever questioned him or, and I'm not talking about criticizing him because I criticize the guy. I love the guy. I criticize him because I feel like he can be better. But, I mean, come on now. If you have at any point said that he should be fired, I'm sorry. I love everyone in here. But if you yourself have ever thought Sean McVay should be fired, you are wrong. You are so wrong. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to be mean. I'm just going to say you have no idea what you're talking about. Because Sean McVay is I think he's the most valuable coach in the league. The Rams have the most valuable player in the league in Aaron Donald. The Rams have the best defensive back in the league in Jalen Ramsey. The Rams have the clutchest quarterback in the league in Matthew Stafford. Yeah, I said it, guys. This guy has the most fourth quarter comeback victories in the league in the last 10 years. Or actually more, since he's entered the league in 2009. The only reason it's not talked about is because he was in Detroit. But that makes it even more impressive, the fact that this guy, who didn't win a ton in Detroit because it's Detroit, I mean, this guy leads the league since 2009 in fourth quarter comeback wins. Like, I mean, are we really going to act like that's not, like, everyone talks about Brady being unbeatable. I mean, Stafford's been unbeatable. Like, in the fourth quarter this year, he's just been incredible. And, I mean, when he has a lead, when it's tied or he has a lead, I really feel comfortable in him winning that game, you know? And I'll say it over and over again. I mean, I feel like this is the guy that, you know, hey, you know, Kurt Warner took him a little bit to get his opportunity. He gets his opportunity. Stafford is a first overall pick, so I'm not about to say he hasn't gotten opportunities. But some guys get better situations put in front of them than this guy. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, you know, it's really come down to the fact, regardless of anything that happens this weekend, it's really come down to the fact that we knew all along Matthew Stafford going to a better organization with better weapons, a better offensive line, a better defense, you know, and just going to L.A., a big market, was going to put him not only on the map, but show how good he really is. So, you know, I really think this has been a long time coming. I remember being, you know, 5 years ago, and we're talking, I mean, it's 2017, I was 21, and I'm sitting there like, man, my best friend Tyler, he's been on my show before. I'm like, man, what I would do to have Matthew Stafford with the Rams right now. I mean, him and I have always talked about Matthew Stafford and how underrated he is, because all anybody would ever do is say that he was stat Padford because he was gifted Calvin Johnson. You know, because that's always used against him. Stat Padford, Matthew Statford, I don't know, really, really lame names, but, you know, regardless, people would call him that. And at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe he pads his stats, but there's no such thing as padding when you're trying to win a game, and that's really what, you know, he was trying to do, and it's what he's done since 2009. You know, he only has one season where he had a really good defense and they went to the playoffs. You know, now he's got a really good support system. It's just, I'm really happy for him, you know, and that's how I feel. But, you know, let's see. Let's see here. Okay, so I got to look at your comments. We've lost 6 straight to the Niners. What makes this game different? How do we fix what's gone wrong before? Well, I'll tell you right now. Straight up. And yes, Skip and Sharp had me dying as well, Bobby. I agree. I've only seen clips. I won't watch the full show. It's not my type of content that I consume, but there's some funny clips, and, you know, Skip Bayless looks like an absolute child. But anyway, Scott, the reason this game is going to be different is very simple. The Rams have grown as a team. They've been able to insert Von Miller. Von Miller is now comfortable, guys. This isn't, all of a sudden, you know, this happens, whatever. No, Von Miller's comfortable, okay? Let's not, stretch the truth here. Von Miller has 7 sacks in the last 6 games or what have you. I mean, he has really stepped up. And this is why they went out and got him, because they got him for the postseason. They got him to chase around Brady, Rodgers, Kyler Murray, Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, they got him for this moment. And you know what? He's starting to really erupt and honestly looked like the best player on the field at times yesterday. Now you have Matthew Stafford back in his rhythm. Stafford goes into these slumps during the season. He'll have a bad stretch. And keep in mind, a bad stretch in the NFL, in a 17-game season could be 3 games. And that could be all she wrote. Because sometimes teams, they have 3 bad games and that's it. That's the end of their season. They can't recover. Well, Stafford has moved forward. He has recovered, and he has been unbelievable in the postseason after being completely ripped in half before he even got there this year. So, Stafford's playing well. Von's playing well. It took the 49ers, and again, I'm going to say it again. I'm sorry, but I'm going to. It took the 49ers miracles, a miraculous comeback for the 49ers to even be in the playoffs as it stands. They had a 0.4% chance of winning the game when Von Miller sacked Jimmy Garoppolo with under 2 minutes to go. 0.4. So, Scott, great question. We've lost 6 straight to the Niners. What makes this game any different? Well, I think, a lot has changed. You have to beat a team 3 times. The Rams did that. They beat Seattle to go to the next round of the playoffs. They beat them twice during the regular season. They beat them in the wild card round. They moved on to the divisional round. It has happened. It does happen. It's not unheard of, but it's really hard, especially when, regardless of what happens, some teams just have a really good matchup. They just match up super well with other teams. Regardless of what happens, you can't tell me the better team is San Francisco. The Rams had the better season. The Rams are the better team. The Rams knocked off the defending Super Bowl champions. But I'm not going to get into that because I think the Rams are going to win. They're going to win because here's the thing, okay? They're back at home. They're back at SoFi. Whatever you want to say about the fans, whatever. The Rams just went on the road, hostile environment in Tampa, and won that game. They're used to running silent counts and things along that nature. They're 8-2 on the road for a reason this season. Treat it like a road game if you have to, regardless, get the W. But I really do believe it's not going to be every game you give up 4 turnovers. It's not going to be every game that you fumble the ball 4 times and the other team recovers it 4 times, let alone just fumbling the ball 4 times. Some miraculous stuff had to go down for Tampa. Miraculous stuff had to go down for San Fran. Obviously, it's championship weekend. Anything can happen. But when I look at, Tampa, my biggest concern with Tampa and why I never ruled them out is no matter what crap I give Tom Brady and his fans, and honestly, I like Tom Brady more than I like his fans. His fans are the reason I really root against Tom Brady. That's the reason. But Tom Brady, got to give him respect. Regardless of the fact he was given 4 free possessions and threw 2 of them away. Regardless of that, you never felt comfortable with that Rams lead because of Brady. Against the Niners, I'd feel a little different. If the Rams established the run, keep in mind this is a completely different way to win a game because the Rams couldn't run the ball. Cam Akers averaged 2 yards per carry. If Cam Akers and company is able to establish the run against the Niners and they get up to a lead like that against Jimmy Garoppolo, they aren't going to be beaten. Now, the matter is you have to actually establish the run. You have to be able to run against that defense, and you have to obviously get that lead. But Garoppolo is not going to lead you back the way Tom Brady is, and that's the difference. Exactly. I'm seeing Debo might be banged up. You're absolutely right. I said as soon as that happened, I'm like, that was a physical game. Whoever wins Rams-Tampa is going to win and go to the Super Bowl and probably win the Super Bowl. And I did say that. Now, with that said, do I think Tampa is as good as the Rams? No. I don't actually think it was really close. I think the Rams shot themselves in the foot 4 egregious times and put Tampa in it. That game was very close to being an absolute laugher in Tampa. And regardless of the result, it looks like the Rams might have broken Tampa. But yeah, just to explain, Scott, I really feel like this game is different for that reason. The Rams have grown. Sean McVay has grown. They're winning games that they simply couldn't have dreamed of winning before. The Tampa game, that is classic. Classic. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, that's a classic Rams loss. We've seen it all. And they're winning these games now. So that's the thing. And I feel like he learned from his mistake. McVay could have obviously sat on the ball, played for OT, given a coin flip of an opportunity for Tom Brady to go down the field and win the game on a touchdown and ruin everything. And he said, no way. We're going to give Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp an opportunity, and that's what happened. And the offensive line blocked well enough for him to have time to get it to Cooper Kupp, and that was that. So that's how I feel about that. I feel like, just to make those adjustments, it shows the growth of Sean McVay. And, I can't stress enough how important that is later on in the season. Season ticket holder here. I'm afraid what's happening on the resale market. Yeah, because, if you're a Rams fan and you buy season tickets and you sell them to Niners fans, you're a freaking idiot. You are such a freaking idiot. That's what you are. And I will not hold back on that. I think you're an absolute bozo. And I think that you focus more on money and less about... And keep this in mind, the people that are selling away their tickets, they're not going to the games. So they have a PSL that someone who does maybe have the money now that didn't when it first came out. They have that money now, but when it first came out, they didn't, so they weren't able to lock up a PSL. Now you have some bozo who's selling it every 2 sets. I hate that shit, man. I really do. I can't stand that. It doesn't matter, if it's a Niners fan, whatever, that's on the Rams for, basically selling it to a Niners fan. They should be vetted. I'll never stop believing in the fact that, if you're talking about season tickets, fans should always be vetted. Why are you selling Rams PSLs to a Niner fan? I don't care if they have the money. That doesn't, the idea that, they have the money and you couldn't find another person to buy season tickets that's a Rams fan or Chargers fan for that matter is absolutely ridiculous. And they sell separate PSLs to Chargers and Rams fans. I was approached to buy them. I decided not to, and it was a great decision on my part because I would have been selling them every week because I would have actually been a hypocrite in what I'm saying right now because I wouldn't be able to go. I was planning on moving to LA and my life changed. And so because of that, because of everything going on with the pandemic, I decided not to get the PSLs and I decided to stay in New York. So, but there's people that buy them just to sell them, like actual scalpers. And the Rams allowed that. And it just freaking pisses me off, man. And I'm not going to get too much into it because I'm not going to question people's fandom and things like that. And to be honest with you, I'm just going to be entirely honest with you. I like going to Rams games. I like going to the Giants-Rams game. I like going to the Rams-Saints game in 2019, the Rams-Packers game in 2018. I like going to Rams, at the time, Redskins, now Washington football team in 2017, and the Giants game in 2017, and 2016 going against going to the Rams and Jets, and long before that, Rams-Bills when he had Sam Bradford with the game-winning drive. But you know what? I prefer watching it from my home because I have to cover this team. I have to, analyze the game, and I find I do a way better job. And keep in mind, it's really hard to be a fan and to be an analyst, fanalist. It's really hard to kind of differentiate the two. You try to be positive and you don't want to be super negative, but you also don't want to be super homerish in fandom. And, I feel like when I'm watching the game, I'm more likely to be more of an analyst because I can take it in. If I'm at the game, I'm going to be cheering for my team. The moment is going to suck into me, and I'm going to be like that. So I like going to a few games a year, but for me personally, it makes more sense to watch it from home based on what I do. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense to anybody else. So I understand for people that don't want to necessarily, they don't want to go to the games, right? I get that. If you're in LA and you'd rather watch it on TV, you're supporting the team, that's you, whatever, that's fine. But for people that have the season tickets and they're selling them to just Niners fans, I have an issue with that. And I'll continue to say that because I do have an issue with it. I do feel like there's other ways to go about it. And when you see on Twitter, when you have Melissa Whitworth literally offering to buy out all the tickets, and you have, people like Steve Mason who are, like, hey, just contact me. I'll facilitate the tickets to somewhere, someone who wants them that's a Rams fan. When you have all of those support systems and a way that can combat that, I just kind of feel like there's no excuse and you're not taking it that seriously. And you know what? I understand. If you don't take it that seriously, you've probably never been to a game before. You probably just buy tickets. You're a scalper. You're probably the reason I can't get freaking Foo Fighters tickets the moment they came out, because you scalp them. You get them at this price. You get them at the pre-sale, and then you sell them, you mark it up like 80%. Or not just Foo Fighters tickets, any tickets. I hate scalpers. They're one of the most annoying breeds of people on the planet, but they exist, and I think the Rams need to be more cautious of that moving forward. I'll continue to bang that drum. But anyway, Skip, let's see. Up front is the key to victory this Sunday. Absolutely agree. I did not watch all of Undisputed. I just saw some clips. I'm not really a big, I don't like those talk shows. And personally, I'll say this. I believe since it's become more of the talk show and you get those crazy takes from Skip Bayless and all of that, I think it's really helped YouTube and young and up-and-coming and small content creators like myself and, ones that are a little bit bigger than me, a lot bigger than me, like Tom Grossi, because people got tired of the same BS narratives. They got tired of over and over and over again, we're just going to say things to get people to talk about them and not actually analyze the game. And so, I appreciate them because I think they're making my job easier, and I've noticed since I started, my views have gone way up. Just letting you guys know alone, January, we are on pace to generate more revenue than any month before. And as somebody that does this as a full-time job, from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you guys enough. It has been a hellacious, emotional time, talking about the beginning of January and the end of December, losing my grandfather. It has been brutal, okay? And just the fact that this month has really just been the embodiment of everything that I try to, put together. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, we're on such a ridiculous pace. YouTube literally emailed me to let me know that my channel views are up by 174%. Remember I said 174%. Over the last 48 hours, we have over 15,000 views. We have 10,528 subscribers and counting. You guys are freaking awesome, and I really appreciate it. And now I'm getting more donations, which I can't stress enough. I really do appreciate that, guys. DeReal A-Dog, how you doing? Hey, Jake, did you see the Dan Orlovsky stuck up for Stafford on ESPN today? It was hilarious. He made a good point about people not believing in Matt. Absolutely. I did see it with the Top Gun jacket. I thought that was great. I love Dan for that. He came on our 300th episode, I believe, at Downtown Rams, or maybe 200th. But, yeah, he's a great dude, and we had an opportunity to talk with him, Blaine and I. So really cool having him on the show before he went to ESPN. We need thank you so much for donating, Mark. We need some hope, bro. I feel like it's going to be a blowout against us or a repeat of last time we met. I do not. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams just kicked the Niners over and over and over again in the mouth, and this was them finally saying, you know what? I'm not afraid of you anymore. That whole Spider-Man Far From Home thing where Peter, he takes the glasses off and he's like, I'm not afraid of you anymore, to Mysterio. I wouldn't be surprised if it's that type of moment where the Rams are just like, you know what, we freaking had it, man. 6 straight times. We just knocked off the defending Super Bowl champions. Get out of our way. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just, sideswipe them off the road and just go right to the Super Bowl. I think this is their moment. I think they're tired of all of that. Oh, they only read the press clippings, or they the glitz and glamour of the glitter of LA. They're tired of all that. They're just going to take care of business one game at a time. I think that's something that Sean McVay does a great job of, preparing them to work each game. Go back, each game, not, hey, let's look ahead. No, they're never looking ahead. I had people in the comment section, love you guys to death, but I had people in the comment section saying, I'm worried they're going to look ahead to the Niners game. That's not a Sean McVay coached football team. They do not look ahead. And so that was the thing. That's why I knew they were going to beat Tampa. At no point during that game did they have any sort of mindset on the 49ers. No freaking way. So here's the thing. Okay? Here's the thing. The Niners could win. I'm not saying that they have no chance of winning, but I think there's more of a chance of the Rams blowing out the Niners than there is of the Niners winning. Because I really feel like there's something here where the Niners have done a really nice job. They're a very good football team. I had them going 12-5 before the season started. They're one of the best teams, and quite honestly, if Aaron Rodgers is out of the NFC and Tom Brady does indeed retire, the two best teams next year in the NFL potentially are both the Rams and the Niners. And I'll tell you right now, very much, Trey Lance scares me long term. I think he could be Mahomes-esque, so keep that in mind. They are not going anywhere. But I feel like this year, what they've been able to do, the injuries they've gone through, and the freaking run they went on has been so impressive. I just think they're as impressive as it is, we need to call it like it is. They're a 10-7 football team that got hot at the right time. They were very close, 0.4% chance to win that game with under 2 minutes to go, and they were very close to being eliminated and having the Saints at SoFi Stadium for the first game of the playoffs. And I'll say it over and over and over again, okay? Credit the Niners, but I really feel like this is the Rams' time. I've said it before the season started. I had the Rams at 15-2, the Niners at 12-5. If Cam Akers starts the season healthy, they might have gone 15-2, to be honest with you. If Robert Woods doesn't go down, maybe they go 15-2. The Niners are going 12-5 if Jimmy doesn't go down, if Kittle doesn't go down, if Debo doesn't go down. So I do think I was on the right track there. Here's the deal, okay? You got to give credit to San Fran. I think they got hot at the right time, but I'm telling you right now, they played a physical game, the most physical game I've seen of the entire playoffs so far, in my opinion, against the Packers in the freezing cold. To just assume, because they're on a run, and to just discredit the fact the Rams absolutely dominated the Bucs from beginning to end, and it took them 4 times giving the ball away just for that game to even be close. To discredit that, I think, is a mistake. And I know there's going to be people out there that look at 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. Well, guess what? The 6-0 doesn't mean absolutely anything in the grand scheme of things if they win this game. And you know what? It doesn't mean anything going into this game. Do you know why? Because guess what the Rams' record is right now? Okay? They finished the season at 12-5. Right now, they are 14-5. Okay? So they've won 2 games. So they're 14-5. San Francisco is 12-7. 14-5, 12-7. Neither of those records matter. It's the seeding. Neither of those seedings matter. It's at SoFi. That's all we know. That's the only thing that has been determined. The Niners being 6-0 the last 6 times, all that tells you is that people, the bettors, Vegas, they're going to take the Niners. They're going to. But I'm telling you right now, the Rams aren't just going to turn the ball over 4 straight times. That was some lucky Tom Brady nonsense that honestly you just don't see. But furthermore, if they do fumble 4 times, like I said and can't stress enough, teams don't recover the ball 4 times. That never happens. You at least fall on one of them. It was a freak game, and I'll say it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, okay? Again, I'll say it over and over again. The Rams just knocked off Tom Brady, who is considered the GOAT, and the defending Super Bowl champions. They are hosting the NFC Championship game. They've been the better team all year, and now it doesn't matter. It does not matter the 6-0 record. They have a chance to literally annihilate that 6-0 record. It's just like, for instance, with the Cardinals. The Cardinals had 1 win against the Rams in 10 appearances since Sean McVay became head coach. So they were 1-9 against Sean McVay with the Rams. If they had knocked off Sean McVay in the wild card, do you think anybody gives a damn about that all-time record? It's moot. It's meaningless. It doesn't matter. Tom Brady had only lost 1 game when wearing white. Who gave a crap? They punched him in the mouth. And here's the thing. Like I'll say over and over and over and over and over again. Tom Brady is not the quarterback for the 49ers. And if they get down early, They're not coming back the way the Bucs did. They're not. I'm telling you. The bus absolutely will stop here. If they get up to a quick lead, if the Rams get up to a lead like that, they're not doing what they did in Week 18. Sean McVay has learned his lesson, okay? Sean McVay has learned his lesson. He's not going to run 3 times and punt the ball back. He's not going to do it. He's learned his lesson, and he's realized, hey, look, I can't run the ball too much. I can't throw the ball too much. I have to be balanced. What Raheem Morris is doing right now on defense, guys, I mean, he has just absolutely dominated. The game plan was so spectacular because basically what they were doing is allowing Tom Brady to find open receivers. They were just getting pressure there before they got there. And to be honest with you, they've continued to protect that secondary, the back end of that secondary. And guess what? It's going to be easier because they're going to have Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback instead of Tom Brady, who can throw it 50, 60 yards down the field. So I'll say it. Rams are going to win this weekend. They're going to win this weekend. San Francisco is a damn good football team. They deserve a lot of praise. But let's call it like it is. They dominated Dallas, and they almost let that game get away. Okay? So it's not the Rams are the only team doing that. They didn't just go into Dallas and win by 40. They let them come back in a game, and Jimmy Garoppolo made a mistake. That's what the Rams are going to look for. They need Jimmy Garoppolo to make that mistake. That's the first thing, right? The second thing is the Packers game. You're down, 10-3? You needed a miraculous blocked punt and blocked field goal to win that game. You trusted your quarterback so much that on 3rd and 7, you were actually more okay with running with Deebo Samuel, who limped off the field right after that play and was not 100%. You were more okay with running with Deebo Samuel on 3rd and 7 to seal the game, and if he got stopped, you would have rather punted it to Aaron Rodgers than had Jimmy Garoppolo throw down the field. So tell me this right now. If you get down early to the Rams, how the hell are you going to have any sort of ability or trust to have Jimmy Garoppolo throw down the field? You're not. It's that simple. The Rams have to do what they did against Tampa, and they are capable of doing that. They're going against a far more inferior quarterback to Tom Brady. It's really not close at all, and I don't have to tell you that. Coach, Jimmy Garoppolo threw about 8 lollipops into the flat that he's lucky they didn't get picked. I watched that whole game, and to be honest with you, it was unbearable, honestly. If I was a 49ers fan, I would not feel comfortable going in this game because Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing lollipops to the flat, and he got away with it barely. Those were 8 interceptable passes to the flat that he just did not. He was just so careless with the football. And keep this in mind. This is a defense that will take advantage of that. They've done it all year. Playoff Scotty did against Tom Brady. It took a just surprising fumble at the 1-yard line, a freak fumble at the 1-yard line to save and bail out Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. It took all these freak things. Sure, they could happen again, but I mean, the chances of that are crazy. That's like putting together a 20-leg parlay and winning. I mean, I'll say it over and over again, right? Like, the 49ers are a really good football team. But like I said, I'm just saying. I'm not talking too early. No. Because everyone told me that as well. Remember when I was talking about Tom Brady? I was like, but it's Tom Brady. And everyone was like, oh, shut up, Jake. You're going to jinx us. Don't you guys see? The Rams win or lose, it has nothing to do with me. The Rams are either going to take care of business, they're going to beat the Niners and shut up bang bang Niner gain, or they're going to lose. And if they lose, then they don't deserve to be in the Super Bowl. It's that simple. There's no superstitions or anything like that. They're either going to play their game, and again, no one has been able to beat them. No one has been able to beat the Rams when they play their game and don't turn the ball over. Or they're going to shoot themselves in the foot again, and it's going to be a close game, and they're going to allow Jimmy Garoppolo, who's the most limited quarterback in the playoffs by far, by a country mile, They're going to allow him to beat them. That's what's going to happen. It's one of those two. I'm telling you. I mean, like I said, credit the Niners. Very good football team. They also needed a blocked punt and a blocked field goal in the same game. Can someone figure out the odds of that happening? I want to know like the actual monetary odds. Like what would that win you? Let's see. Okay. So back in 2012, they did a little bit of a study on it. And the percentage of blocked punts per game is 0.11% per game. And it's gone up. 2008, it was 0.05, and now it's 0.11 back in 2012. But San Francisco is tied for second with blocked field goals. Denver's number 1. But come on now. Come on now. If that's what we're doing, if that's what we're leaning on, just telling. I'm telling you. That was a hellacious battle. That was a very physical football game, most physical of the entire playoffs. To just assume that Deebo Samuel's not going to have any after effects, to just assume that Trent Williams is totally fine, to just assume that Matthew Stafford isn't going to, go off against this team, or is for that matter. To assume anything at this point is ridiculous. But like I said, I do think the Rams are going to win this game. I think what it comes down to is, again, the Niners are a really good football team, but I think the bus stops here. I really do. Jimmy Garoppolo is very limited, and if you get him to make some mistakes, you're going to win the game 9 times out of 10. So, like I said, it's respect. I mean, I think they're a good football team. I continue to say they're a good football team, but the Rams are going to have an opportunity here. They are riding the momentum of beating Tom Brady, a guy that literally the 5th seed last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went all the way through the playoffs and won. The Rams just won at home. They went to Tampa and won in Tampa. They've won a blowout, and they've won in a close game that should have been a blowout. Let's see what happens against the Niners. But like I said, I'm feeling good about this game. Losing 3 is going to be tough. And I'll tell you right now, I will tell you right now, I was saying I don't want to see the Niners, but in reality, they were going to have to play one of these teams that they can't beat and to show that they can beat them. And if the Rams beat the Niners, man, then they deserve it. They deserve it. And the 6 games that they lost, the Niners may want to, Niners fans still may say 1-6 or whatever, but, you'll just say Super Bowl. And if the Niners win, then you just don't have anything to say. There will be no trash talking. If I see it, I will call you out. Because if they win again, there's no trash talking from here on out. The Niners fans can talk all they want, and you can't say anything. Because I don't want to hear it, because if the Niners do win and they go 7-0 against the Rams the last 7 times, there is no more trash talking. Period. So that's what I'll say with that. Let's see here. So who's spamming the chat? I'm seeing a bunch of stuff that was deleted by the moderator. And also, YouTube just totally, they just got rid of all my chat. What the hell? Renee, have I pictured the possibility of the Rams absolutely dominating the 49ers? Yes. That was obnoxious. Something just flew in my mouth. All right. Yes, I have. Am I worried? Well, I mean, the Niners' running game is good, but I think the Rams. There's a chance they'll have Sebastian Joseph Day back, and I'll just say this. I mean, you know, Sebastian Joseph Day coming back would be massive for the interior. I don't think people give enough credit. Ernest Jones could possibly be back as well. I just feel like this is it, man. You know, this is what we've been talking about all year. This is why you traded for Matthew Stafford to be in this moment. Right now, if I had to throw a score prediction together, I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be. I'm not predicting a blowout, but I mean, I would probably say 27-17. I mean, a 10-point game, I could see that, 27-20, something like that, 27-23. I don't know, something like that. But I think it'll be under 30 both. But like I said, I won't be surprised if the Rams do blow them out. Like I said against Tampa. I mean, honestly, they blow out Tampa if they don't have some freak turnovers. I'll say this. I mean, the freak turnover, the one at the goal line, Cam Akers, that was not a great. I mean, people are like, obviously Winfield forced it with the contact, but people are acting like Winfield ripped it out. Winfield didn't rip it out. And Ndamukong Suh ripped out the second one. The bad snap, I mean, Tampa didn't have to do anything. That's another unforced error. And Cooper Kupp just dropped the ball. I mean, that wasn't. So that's not going to happen every game. Yeah, but coach, the Bucs don't have to run the ball like the Niners because they have a quarterback that can throw past 5 yards. Can actually throw the boundary. Yeah, Matt. I mean if you called that shot 44-6, I would have asked you what what parlays to do the next day because you're from the future, man. No, what new helmet? Yeah, I think Rochelle will help. I don't know. That's how I look at it. The Rams are getting healthier on one side of the, on one side, and then the other side, the Niners are coming off the most physical game in the playoffs. So what am I to think? Yeah, tweet it at me. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, Camper Report, just hit me up. Those helmets look custom made. There's no way that's new. I don't I don't like that. I don't know. Like why is it white with I don't know. That just looks weird to me. Yeah, I'm hoping that's not. No, I don't like those. And the captain, why is there a captain patch on top of the helmet? That's so weird. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting. I saw that. So Matt Gay, it was like the downforce or cross force winds, whatever you would call it, was the reason he missed it. That's so typical though that would happen. What uniform combo would I want to see this weekend? How about just the same? You know? Why screw around? Yeah, like that. I mean, that's just my opinion. Why screw around? Just rock the same ones. The blue and yellow. They look really good. And then in the Super Bowl, apply to see if you can wear them. I understand they're the road team, but, just see if you can wear them. If you can't wear them in the Super Bowl, then wear white. And the Rams are undefeated in the Super Bowl when they wear white. So, But it is funny, because people have sent me different clips of videos and stuff, how, Niners fans are saying that, this is clearly going to be Bengals, Niners, the Chiefs and Rams. They don't have this, this, and this. And then, they'll name, it's just really odd. I have no issue, obviously. There are Niners fans in here that are watching. Niners fans don't bother me. Especially Niners content creators. I think they're very nice. I have never come across a Niners content creator I couldn't stand. But, this idea where, there are people out there that are trying to say that Garoppolo is more trustworthy than Stafford. I mean, like I said, let's just call it like it is. At the end of the game, Sean McVay said, you know what, Matthew Stafford? Throw deep down the field and try to win the football game with your arm. And the Niners, right in field goal range, were like, you know what, Debo? We're going to give you the ball because we don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to throw past the sticks. That's all you need to know. Come on. That's ridiculous. Matthew Stafford is way more trustworthy than Jimmy Garoppolo. No one coming into the game should think that Jimmy Garoppolo is more trustworthy than Stafford. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I just, yeah. I mean, the Cam Akers talk, look, Cam Akers fumbled twice. The Rams don't have a fumbling issue. That was one game, freak game. Everything went Brady's way, and they still won. I really don't think, people were saying to cut Cam Akers. You have to be out of your gourd to cut Cam Akers. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's not even something that I should even bother mentioning because it's just not realistic or relevant or make any sort of sense. Dude's 22 years old. The dude he led the league in rushing during the playoffs in the first 2 weeks of the season last year in the playoffs. And then, he comes back 6 months off a torn Achilles. He has 2 fumbles. One that's a freak. The other one he's trying to get a first down, and the ball's ripped out. I don't know. Nah, Coach, you're good. I respect you too. You're always on here. I appreciate your support. We just like different teams. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners won. I can tell you that much. I really feel like this is the Rams' time. And the Niners will have plenty. I think this is going to be a rivalry that is renewed to another level, and they're going to go back and forth because to me, right now, if you look, Rodgers, Rodgers might not be in Green Bay. Brady might retire. I'll believe it when I see it, but Rappaport's saying it's more of a realistic thing than years past. So if those two are out of the NFC, Dak Prescott with the Cowboys looks like they might lose both coordinators. And to be honest with you, Mike McCarthy, I'm still shocked that Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy. On top of it, since the last decade, no team has repeated and won the NFC East. So regardless of what you want to say about the Cowboys, I'll take the Rams over the Cowboys any day next year. I'll take the Niners over the Cowboys any day next year. And, then I look at Arizona. And it's Arizona, I mean, I think that they were a little bit of a year early. I think they have a chance to really compete next year. But I still think the Rams and 49ers are better. You look at Seattle. I have no idea what Seattle's doing. I have no idea. Are they going to bring back Russell Wilson? Is there even a point to bringing back Russell Wilson? Should they just blow it up and reboot it? Honestly, they should reboot it like it's the freaking Amazing Spider-Man series. Because right now, that's dead. They're 7-10. Just like I predicted. So that's that. Then you look at the rest of the NFC East. You have Washington. If Washington finds a quarterback and gets healthy on the defensive side, they're something. There's something to look at. They're not the Rams or 49ers, but there's something if they have a quarterback. We'll see what they do. Then you look at, the Eagles. I mean, are they going to rock with Jalen Hurts? Because that's not a team that I'm scared of with Jalen Hurts. So now you finish that. You finish the West. Now you go over the Bucks. The Bucks lose Tom Brady. I mean, they're going to have plenty of money back. They might be able to bring back Chris Godwin. There's no way they're rolling out Kyle Trask. So maybe they get a quarterback. Who knows? But I wouldn't expect them to be better than the Rams or Niners. So then, Panthers? Guys, they just hired Ben McAdoo to be their OC. Like, no. God, no. So no to the Panthers. Then the Saints. I mean, there's talk of Sean Payton not coming back to coach next year. Who's going to quarterback the Saints? Who's going to be the head coach of the Saints? There's a lot of uncertainty. Still got a great defense. Honestly, they might want to promote Dennis Allen from, defensive coordinator to head coach, promote from within, but we'll see what they do. But, I mean, we don't know about them. So, again, Rams, Niners. Then who else? The Falcons? I mean, Arthur Smith, credit him, man. I don't know how they won games, but he pushed them through. And I like Matt Ryan, but they can't protect him. And there's no way. I mean, that contract, I don't even know how you trade it. It's very bad. It's a tough contract to move, so I don't like the Falcons' chances. So we finished that division. So then we go over to the North, where, to me, you're looking the Packers. If they don't have Aaron Rodgers, they're banking on Jordan Love. Jordan Love hasn't really impressed me early on. I mean, we'll see, but Jordan Love hasn't impressed me. He did nothing against the Kansas City Chiefs in that game. So Jordan Love there. I don't like the Packers without Rodgers. Still got a great defense. Still have plenty of weapons. Not sure Jordan Love's the guy. Then you have the Vikings, and the Vikings are interesting because the Vikings could end up with Raheem Morris's head coach, who's had some success in the NFL, and I think he'd be a great head coaching candidate. Could fix that defense. I don't think that they would underachieve because Mike Zimmer would be gone. And then it's like, do you bring Kirk Cousins back? Do you go after Deshaun Watson? You have Dalvin Cook. You have Adam Thielen. You have Justin Jefferson. I mean, that team, that offensive line got a little bit better. That team is interesting. They're not Niners or Rams. Okay, who else? The Lions? Hey, I love Dan Campbell. I think the Lions can turn it around, and the great thing about the Lions is that because they were so bad this year, they'll have a bad schedule, But they really weren't that bad. They lost a bunch of really close games. Heartbroken for them. But I think they'll keep Jared Goff. I think they'll continue to build around Goff. I think it's the right move. Build that defense. Give him more weapons. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like a star. Swift looks really good. You have Sewell for the long haul. Offensive line, when fully healthy, was blocking well. The Lions will be interesting, especially with Rodgers out. If that's the case, they're a team to watch. Not better than the Niners or Rams. So then the last team there is Chicago. And Chicago right now, the betting odds favorite to go to Chicago is Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores should never have been fired in Miami. So it begs the question, what happens in Chicago? They have Justin Fields, who I love. Justin Fields, had one of the highest, I think he had the highest percentage of, air yards, completed air yards. So this guy is not afraid to throw down the field. You get him an offensive-minded guy, you get him a true head coach, and you continue to build that defense. Going to be interesting there, but that's not a team I'm entirely out on either. However, it just shows you how not wide open this conference is. As of right now, there's a reason why these two teams are playing in the NFC title game. These are the two best teams in the NFC. If Rodgers leaves, the Packers, and Tom Brady retires, no one matches these two teams. No one. There's, there's uncertainty. I mean, here's the thing. I think there's a lot of potential with Arizona, and I think there's a lot of potential with Minnesota. I trust Arizona more because I know they have Kyler Murray for the long run. I know they got a good defense, and I know Cliff Kingsbury is going to be there next year. And hopefully he'll get better over time for their sake. But what I can't bank on is the Vikings. I can't bank on them. And also, I forgot about the Giants. The Giants are an interesting one. If they get Brian Dable, look at what he's done in Buffalo. That's a guy, if he becomes a head coach, that's a team to watch out for as well. So you have your teams that you're interested in, like Washington, the Giants, Dallas, Minnesota, Arizona, but name a team in the NFC. If Rodgers leaves and Brady retires, name a team in the NFC that's better than the Rams and 49ers next year. Because you can't. The only one that you would name is Arizona. You can't name anyone else. There's too much uncertainty. The like I said, the Saints, they won't even have their head coach potentially. So, we just don't know who's going to be quarterback. Then you look at the AFC, and with the AFC, it's, you have the Bills. Bills will be back. Bills have Josh Allen. Regardless if Brian Dable stays or not, I think Josh Allen's for real. He proved that. They have all sorts of weapons. Gabe Davis just had 4 touchdowns in a losing effort. They still have Stephon Diggs. They still have Dawson Knox. They got to fix the running game, in my opinion. I think they should really go out and get a true running back that could be like a Joe Mixon, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins type that can literally do it all. That's what I would do if I'm the Bills. And then, of course, try to improve that defense. They did lose Trey White down the stretch, and I think that definitely hurt them last night. And then on top of that, so you talk about the Bills, then the Patriots. The Patriots are going to be around. Mac Jones, he looked good this year as a rookie, had his moments, and honestly wasn't the reason they lost, in the playoffs. I'll say with Bill Belichick, I think anything's possible there. They spent a ton of money. They got a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. They didn't get enough weapons. We'll see if they get some more weapons on the offensive side. They can run the football. Offensive line's really good. They dealt with some injuries down the stretch, didn't play themselves. They'll be back. Miami, too much uncertainty. Who are they going to hire? Personally, they should hire Mike McDaniel or Thomas Brown. McDaniel being the OC for the 49ers, Thomas Brown being the assistant head coach and running back coach for the Rams. That would be the move. They're not going to do it. They're going to hire a yes man because that's what Chris Grier wants, a.k.a. a general manager that somehow made it 20 years there and has done literally nothing except actually admit that he was wrong to pick Tua Tagovailoa over Justin Herbert. I like Tua, but regardless, the fact that you admitted that, and basically the reason that Brian Flores was fired because he was for Herbert over Tua Tagovailoa just shows that you're incompetent and you don't know what you're doing. So Miami's out on that. And then the Jets, I like Saleh. I think he has the right mindset, trying to build a culture there. They have some players I like. John Franklin Myers, I love him. Quinnen Williams, guys like that. But here's the thing, okay? Zach Wilson, the way they play is going to hinder on Zach Wilson. It's all going to be on Zach Wilson. If Wilson ends up being a bust, it's going to set them back. If he is somewhat solid next year, they can live with that. Miami could be looking at the worst team in the league next year. Or not worst team in the league, but worst team in the division. The Jets could move up to 3. I don't see them touching the Patriots or Bills at this point unless Zach Wilson takes a major step forward. Then you look at the Steelers division, right? The North. You have the Steelers. A lot of uncertainty there. We don't know how it's going to be. Everyone's just assuming, well, Kevin Colbert does this, so the new general manager is not going to want to go out and get a big-time quarterback. We don't know. The Rooneys, they run the greatest organization in the history of the sport, in my opinion. I think the Steelers are the best organization in football. And it's been that way for years. That's why they've only had 3 head coaches or 4 head coaches. Obviously. I don't know how you argue against that. But anyway, Tomlin, this guy can win. This guy can be 500 regardless of what he is in. He's never gone below 500. But who takes over at quarterback? Defense looks good. Defense has potential. They have weapons in Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth. Would like to see him acquire maybe, bring back Juju or acquire a Michael Gallup in the offseason if they lose Juju Smith-Schuster. But I really want to see what they do with the offensive line, what they do at quarterback. That's going to be really important for their long term. But again, not seeing anybody that I've just mentioned except for Buffalo so far that I could say Buffalo would compete with the Rams and Niners for best team in the league. So now we go to the Ravens. This is where things change. Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in football, regardless of what people say. He is dynamic as all hell. He was not healthy, both just virally or whatever, like he was sick, and he was also not healthy, like he got hurt. Lamar Jackson's going to come back, and he's going to be ready to go. Another year under his belt. He's going to get, that established connection with guys like Rashad Bateman, guys like Devin Duvernay. Mark Andrews just had his best season of his career, was actually the best statistical tight end in the league. That defense was banged up from the word go. You talk about losing Marcus Peters. You talk about losing that entire running game. And let's talk about that. J.K. Dobbins was out for the year. They lose Justice Hill. They lose Gus Edwards. I mean, they had so many injuries. They constantly had guys, on the IR. And then they finally, at the end of the season, get somewhat comfortable and they lose Marlon Humphrey. This is a team, in my opinion, that you have to look at long-term as a player, in the Super Bowl conversation every year. The Ravens right now, I wouldn't say that they necessarily are there with the Niners and Rams, but they're in the conversation. They're there with the Bills. I'd actually, I'll put those four right now in a little bit of a tier. So there's a lot of uncertainty. Do those guys come back fully healthy and everything? I think they do. Dobbins, they missed, and Gus Edwards would have had a 1,200 to 1,400 yard season if he was healthy. Guy can play running back. So, not counting out the Ravens, what they were able to do and almost get into the playoffs with what they had around them. Tyler Huntley playing some good football down the stretch. I think that makes sense. Agree with you. Gallup, I think, would be a nice acquisition for the Ravens. Very underrated player. Wouldn't be surprised to see him in Indy, but, we move on. So then the Browns, and this is all off the top of my head, guys. I know my stuff, but I'm not I didn't want to stare at a screen. I wanted to be in the moment. So the Browns here, and this is what I keep saying. It's uncertainty because they don't have a quarterback, but the Browns defense is so good. The Browns defense is so good. They have the best running game in football with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and Dearness Johnson's pretty damn good himself. You got weapons. Look, they may not be the most glamorous, but you can go out and you can get some other guys. The big issue is Baker your guy, or do you need a quarterback? And to me, with that number one or top 5 offensive line in football, when fully healthy, Baker's not the guy. And I think if they were to go out and trade for a Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins, we would see kind of a similar thing with Stafford. It's not necessarily, hey, you're in a system like Sean McVay's, we're going to exponentially grow you. But what would happen, I think, is that these guys would come to play for an organization that has, sold out to, have a run game, have an offensive line, have a defense. I really feel like the Browns have all the pieces there and are missing another weapon and a quarterback. And I think if they get that quarterback and another weapon this offseason, whether it's Cousins, Carr, or whoever, they are going to be in that tier. So right now, Rams, 49ers, Bills, Ravens, Browns, that they get a quarterback, not putting them there yet. And then you have the Bengals. Bengals need to figure out their offensive line. But what they've done without an offensive line has been impossible. I mean, what they have done is so incredible without an offensive line to protect Joe Burrow. Incredible. You have Mixon in the long term. You have Chase. You have Boyd. You have Higgins. Maybe you go out and you get a tight. I mean, CJ Uzama's pretty solid, but what if you got a Freiermuth type that you could really develop long term, safety net? Build that offensive line, though. That's the first thing. Defense has some really good players. I really, really do like DJ Reader. I think he's a very good player, but Logan Wilson had the big interception against the Titans that sealed the deal. Jesse Bates is a hell of a safety. Make sure you extend him. Obviously they need to get better contributions out of guys like Chidobe Awuzie. He showed up at times. Other times he hasn't. You have one of the best nickel corners in all of football in Mike Hilton. So, they have guys. It's a matter of putting together that offensive line because I think Burrow is, I kept saying it, man, Zach Taylor, the Bengals, Joe Burrow, they're a year or 2 or maybe even 3 years ahead of where I expected them to be. This has been incredible, okay? This has been absolutely incredible for what they've done. If they knock off the Chiefs, they are the best story I've seen in quite some time, man. They should not be here. They are absolutely, they've just done such a great job. Burrow is one of the most valuable players in the sport right now. Going to be one of the faces of the sport. Really happy for him. Happy for Zach Taylor. a guy that even myself felt like, you could argue he could have been fired. But they have built it the right way. They just need to build inside the trenches, build that offensive line out, maybe go out and pay a little bit for a free agent, and we're going to see a team that's just absolutely disgusting. I'm going to put them in that tier. They may not be as good as the Rams or the Niners or the Bills or the Ravens, but I'm going to assume here that they do get that offensive line figured out, and I'm actually going to put the Browns there as well because I'm going to assume that they do get that quarterback situation figured out, and I think they move on from Baker. So we got 6 teams. So that's the tier there. We talked about the Steelers. A little too much uncertainty there. They got to figure out the offensive line and quarterback. Just have no idea where they're going with that. And actually, I'll take the Bengals off. I'll take the Browns off because I'm not guaranteeing that they'll actually move on from Baker. I don't know if they will. So you have, we talked about the Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, and Browns. Then you move on to the Colts. And I'll tell you right now, Chris Ballard, cap space, the Colts defense, Darius Leonard, you got all sorts of guys there that I really like. That offensive line's very good, haven't fully been healthy. Jonathan Taylor is one of the best running backs in all of football. Michael Pittman Jr. is a very young talent, very good talent. I don't love Paris Campbell. And what I'll say here is this. Call me crazy, but the thing that I see happening, and I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen, but I could see this, is Ballard has tried with Phillip Rivers. He's tried with Carson Wentz. And these are not guys that are getting him over the hump. I've been a Carson Wentz supporter and a defender, but they did not make the playoffs. They should have. They were a team I watched all year, and I was like, who the hell is beating the Colts, man? I don't want to play the Colts. The Rams barely beat the Colts week 2. So I'm thinking about the Colts, and I'm like, dude, Chris Ballard is going to literally screw around and is going to be like, you know what? Couldn't do it with Phillip Rivers. We came very close, lost by 3 in Buffalo in the wildcard game. Would have been the first ever team to have a 7th seed to win in the first round. They're all 0-4. No, I think Chris Ballard has something cooking. And I don't know exactly what it is, but they're going to figure out a way to move Wentz, who I like, by the way. It's sad, but they're going to figure out a way. They should have made the playoffs. They didn't. That's going to fall on Wentz. Ballard is going to go out, and I think he's going to get Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I think he's going to figure out a way to facilitate a trade, facilitate some sort of move to acquire Rodgers and Adams. I believe that the Colts, and I believe that Chris Ballard, they know that they have a team that all of a sudden you have to start paying those guys. That's going to close. That window is going to close. Chris Ballard is a guy to do that. There's not many GMs in the league that are going to do that. And what I'll say right now is this. You watch Les Snead, how many more years is it going to take for these teams and these GMs to get out of their safe space, go live a little bit, and take that dive and the leap of faith that we've continued to see Les Snead do time in and time out? The same thing that we've seen, what's his face? The former safety who's now the GM for the 49ers, John Lynch. Is it a shock to you? Really? Is it a shock to you that the 2 GMs that have aggression will go out, they've made these crazy moves, the 2 teams in the NFC that continue to do this, they're the ones that are in the final step before the Super Bowl? Does that surprise you? I mean, that's what I've come to the conclusion of. Chris Ballard's my guy. I love Chris Ballard. I think he was a beautiful hire. I think the Chiefs made a mistake letting him go, and they've obviously kind of figured that out. But they figured out how to get past it. But he doesn't get enough credit because it's been the quarterback. As great as Phillip Rivers was at times, other times he wasn't. As great as Wentz could have been with Reich, he is not the same Wentz that we saw when he should have won the MVP in 2017. I'm sorry. I gotta tell you, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you have a chance to play home games without the elements. You get to play in a dome. You get to play with Adams in this hypothetical scenario where you bring Adams to Indy. How the freaking hell, with the connection to Pat McAfee, which was just mentioned below, how the freaking hell are you not trying to do that? How are you not trying to go to Indy? You get Jonathan Taylor as your running back, Michael Pittman, you bring over Adams, you yourself, you have a defense. This team caught absolute fire down the stretch, and then they completely lost it at the end of the year. If they had Aaron Rodgers, this team might have won the Super Bowl. And that's, to me, why I feel like Rodgers could go to Indy, and I feel like Indy is going to be aggressive enough, seeing as they absolutely feel they should have been in the playoffs. They know that they failed 100%. And Dabney, welcome. I haven't seen you in a minute, so appreciate you being here. I know you're a Colts fan, so I know you're probably digging this. But I'll tell you right now, if they get Rodgers and Adams, the Colts are right in that tier. They're not in the tier yet. We can't just give them Rodgers and Adams and put them in the tier. But this is a team that we're going to have to monitor all offseason. We're going to have to make sure, because I tell you right now, the Colts are not going to lay down. They are going to try to not only win that division, and they absolutely should have won it this year against the Titans, but they're going to try to win a Super Bowl. And Rodgers and Adams, 2-year deals for both would do that. Anyway, so we have the Colts. They're not in the tier, but they are the wait and see. Highlight that team, 5 times over if you have to. So on top of that, you have the Titans. Titans they have to have that internal discussion right now. Okay, you have Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill's played well, and he struggled. But what have you done for me lately? Well, Tannehill threw 3 interceptions in a playoff game they have to feel like they should have won. Now, really, should they have beaten the Bengals? No, I think the Bengals outplayed them. But they were in that. They were in it. So the question remains, do you bring back Tannehill? I could see Tannehill in Washington. But, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you, the Titans, who just won the division and lost in the first round, I don't know if you're going to be okay with Tannehill again. Why run it back with him? Why? He wasn't the reason. What did I say, guys, when they beat the Rams? The interior pressure of Jeffrey Simmons and Nico Autry is what did that on Stafford. They did a brilliant job. They dominated up front in the trenches. That offense was as pedestrian as it gets, man. Pedestrian. So, to me, if I'm the Titans, I'm not putting them in the same tier as those other teams. Are you kidding me? I'm not doing that. They couldn't win the first round at home. I'm not putting them in the first tier. Absolutely not. So I'm leaving them out. But they got to figure out the Tannehill thing. I've been a supporter of his. I was happy for his resurgence, but no. Nope. Maybe he goes to the Falcons. Maybe Arthur Smith was the reason. What if he goes back with Arthur Smith? Who knows? But I'll tell you right now, I am not bringing him back if I'm the Titans. No way. This team was just the 1 seed and got embarrassed, and the quarterback threw 3 picks and bad interceptions. No, that Tannehill was not good enough, and they lost the game because of him. Okay, Jaguars. This is an easy one. Unless they get Tom Brady, you can't count the Jaguars in this tier. There's no way the Jaguars should be in this tier, and I don't even know if they'd be in it with Brady. But unless Brady decided, hey, Giselle, you want to stay in Florida? All right, let's go to Jacksonville. I still don't even think it. So, no, not Jacksonville. Long term, we'll see what happens. We'll see who they hire. Personally, I think they're going to hire the guy from the Cowboys, the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, but we'll see. So then you look, Titans, Colts, Jaguars, Texans, okay? Texans, what are they even doing? I think they're going to hire defensive coordinator from the Eagles, Jonathan Gannon. I've heard he's interviewed very well. I heard he's ready, and his approach and how, he's detail-oriented, but how organized he was really impressive from multiple people. I think there's a very, very good chance that Gannon is your head coach. I'll actually just tell you right now, I think Gannon's your head coach in Houston, 100%. I really believe that. So I think Jonathan Gannon will be a head coach in Houston, rookie, defensive-minded. Do you go out and do you get an offensive-minded guy, a real offensive-minded guy as your OC? Do you get somebody that's a quarterback whisperer? What do you do? Because I'll tell you right now, they have something in Davis Mills. They do. They have something in Davis Mills. There's no reason for them to have to go out and just, reach for the stars and go out and, get a star quarterback. Try and work with Davis Mills, grow that team, give him an opportunity because you draft him in the 3rd round, and if he works out, you have a quarterback. And if he doesn't, you can move on. There's going to be other opportunities down the pipe. You don't need to right away go after somebody. You're probably going to get some trade value once the Deshaun Watson dust clears up, and if it doesn't, then you're screwed. But, the Deshaun Watson thing, just think about how many different picks they could get, where what if they want to do what the Rams did? Think about this. No one's talked about this. The Texans are kind of all over the place, but they actually have an easy way out, and hear me out when I say this. Texans signed a bunch of veterans that are just trying to get film out there. We're just trying to get starting jobs, just trying to get playing time. So they signed guys like Phillip Lindsay that were basically, another team's trash is another team's treasure, right? Rex Burkhead. The island of misfit toys was essentially Houston Texans territory, right? But these guys actually showed you that they can play. Obviously, we know Brandon Cooks can play. We know Danny Amendola down the stretch, man. He was really, really good. I was impressed. Amendola was almost the reason the Titans lost that first seed. He went off. He channeled his inner St. Louis Ram. But here's the thing, okay? The Texans, if they trade Deshaun Watson, everybody's in their mother's going to say, okay, they get 3 first-round picks, right? Everyone's going to say, oh, well, they got to get a quarterback. What if they have their quarterback? Why can't we just realize that what if Mills, who played well, by the way, what if Mills, the 3rd rounder, ends up working out, and you got a quarterback in the 3rd round, and now you're able to trade Deshaun Watson, you get all this capital, and you can do what the Rams did. You know what the Rams did when they went to the Super Bowl? They had Goff on a rookie deal, which is where Davis Mills is right now. And they went out and they got guys like Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters, and Ndamukong Suh. This is what I'm talking about. If the Texans got all those picks for Watson, they could turn around and trade them for a bookend left tackle. They could go around and trade them for, a nonstop, unbelievable corner like a Jalen Ramsey. You're not going to get Jalen Ramsey, but you could get that tier, that level, very, very good. Don't let go of Mills. I think they'll really regret it if they try, they just assume they get Deshaun Watson's picks and they're like, oh, well, we'll just draft a quarterback. Why? It's such a waste. See what Mills has. If you hire a rookie head coach, which I believe they're going to do with Jonathan Gannon, then see what Mills has. And, I'll tell you right now, that rookie contract is so valuable in the NFL. He's going to be so cheap, and you're going to be able to afford other guys. And this Texans team, when have they had a star quarterback? Deshaun Watson, you could call him a star, but he hasn't won anything. This team, at their best, was when they had Matt Schaub, who honestly Davis Mills is very similar to. They don't need a star quarterback right now. What they need is to get butts in the seats, win games, and develop and grow. If they trade Deshaun Watson, they can sit on those picks. They can trade him away. They can sign guys. They can take advantage of how cheap it is to keep Davis Mills on the roster. Think about it. But no, the Texans are not in that tier. That's that. So right now, in that tier, we got the Rams. We got the 49ers. We got the Bills. We got the Ravens. We got the Bengals. We got the Browns if they get a quarterback. We got the Colts if they get Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams like I think they will, or one of them. If they get one of them and they figure it out, who knows? We move on to the next division, and this one is quite the doozy here in the West. And I'll tell you, the West, man, Rodgers could go to Denver, and if he does, I would not want to be in the AFC West becomes more dangerous than the NFC West by a country mile because we don't know what Seattle's going to be. I can tell you, I don't think they're going to be that very good. So here's the thing, okay? With the West, we'll start off with the Raiders. The Raiders, I think, are going to hire Gerard Mayo. He's a defensive-minded guy, comes from Bill Belichick's system, his way of life, so to speak. Former linebacker in the league, very good linebacker in the league, I might add. Linebacker coach, never had an opportunity to be the full-time defensive coordinator. There were rumors that he was calling the plays and kind of alternating with Steve Belichick, but I don't really know what was going on there, and probably somebody in the comment section that hopefully somebody's a Patriots fan in the comment section, they could tell me. Either way, when you look at, Gerard Mayo and you bring him to the Raiders, and unfortunately Rich Bisaccia is going to get screwed. He's not going to be the head coach. I can tell you that right now. They're in Vegas. They're going to hire, a big-time guy. Gerard Mayo is ready. I think he's along the lines of Vrabel, but I think he could be better. And you have Derek Carr there, who I think is a very hot commodity at quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks I think that is available right now. I don't necessarily believe that the Raiders are going to keep him. I think they should. I think that they should try to build around him, but that's that. Defense has showed promise, but, even they get Nate Hobbs, this rookie that just kills it at the end of the season, and then he gets arrested for driving super fast on the highway. It just never ends with them. So hopefully, Gerard Mayo can get in there and just basically stop that nonsense, install the Patriot way, and, we'll see about that. But no, they're not in the same tier. Credit them. Credit Rich Bisaccia to getting them to the playoffs. They are not in the same tier as the teams that I was talking about earlier. Next team, Chiefs. Yes, they're in the same tier. They have a chance to win the Super Bowl. They're in the AFC Championship for the 4th season in a row. For the love of God, they're becoming a little bit of a dynasty here, depending on how you want to, call it. But the division is gonna be tougher, and I look at this team and they got Mahomes long term, Kelsey, Hill. They got to fix that run game. We'll see what happens there. Offensive line looks good. Defense looks good. They made major adjustments since the beginning of the season when they really struggled. But, I'll tell you right now, the Chiefs are absolutely in that tier, and they have nothing to worry about there. Bieniemy will probably take over as the head coach at some point. I think that's why he hasn't been, hired yet. So, I'll say the Chiefs are in that category as well. Denver, we'll see. They get a quarterback, man. They got a really good running back in Javonte Williams. They got 2 really good receivers, Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy had a bad year, but I think he'll bounce back. Noah Fant is really good. The offensive line. And the offensive line coach, Mike Munchak, former Titans head coach. Look, Munchak did wonders for the Steelers on the offensive line. Since Munchak has left Pittsburgh, that offensive line has absolutely imploded and has never been the same. He goes to Denver and instantly Garrett Bowles all of a sudden isn't a bust anymore, and that offensive line is just humming. So this is how it works, okay? You have Locke, you have Bridgewater. To me, I don't know if the starting quarterback for the Broncos is actually on the roster at the moment. Could see Rodgers there. We'll see. Personally, I think they're going to hire Nathaniel Hackett to be their new head coach, so it could lure Rodgers over, who comes from Green Bay. They have a good connection, so I could see that. Defense looks really good. You can definitely see why they went out and they got Patrick Surtain in the draft. Looks great. Linebackers, they got Baron Browning. They got Alexander Johnson. They got Kenny Young, who's going to be a free agent. They might want to bring him back. Micah Kaiser, 2 former Rams that they like a lot. They also have Justin Sternad, a former 5th-round pick they really like a lot. They just have a lot of talent all over the field, especially with Justin Simmons, the safety out of Boston College. I just think that the Broncos really are ready. If they get a quarterback that can throw deep down the field, that can get them out of a bind, they have a chance, man. They have a chance to be really good. Are they in that tier without a quarterback? No, but with a quarterback, I might put them in that tier. And then you look at the Chargers, and this is the last team. Chargers, I had them going to the Super Bowl against the Rams. I'll be honest with you, here's what went wrong. Brandon Staley's defense gave up the 31st most points in the entire league. That's what went wrong. This offense was humming, okay? They still were able to make plays downfield. Justin Herbert didn't regress. He looked just as good as he did last year, if not better. The stats may not support that, but he did have a very good season. They have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I really feel like losing Hunter Henry might not have been the smartest, and replacing him with Jared Cook, I think they could get a better tight end than that. But their running back room, I think Eckler, in my opinion, I think Eckler's one of the most valuable running backs in football. They have guys on the defensive side, but it just never came together this year. So, right now, Staley's defense, I don't know what to make of it. So, unfortunately, for that reason, I can't put them in that tier. So, there is that. I went through the entire NFL, all the teams, to prove a point. And then it went way down a rabbit hole, which I guess you guys were enjoying, but here's how it went. Rams, 49ers, Bills, Chiefs, Browns with a quarterback, Bengals, Ravens, Colts if they get Rodgers or Adams. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Oh, Denver if they get Rodgers. Guys, this is what I'm talking about. This is why, regardless of what happens on Sunday, the Rams and 49ers, this rivalry is renewed. This rivalry is renewed. These are the two best teams, not only in the NFC West, but in the NFC and maybe the NFL. And think about this. We still have not seen what Trey Lance can do in a full season in the NFL. And they're going to have a decision to make with Jimmy Garoppolo. There's no way they trade Trey Lance away. But if Jimmy Garoppolo were to win another Super Bowl, or go to the Super Bowl and win, it would make it a little hard. It would definitely change things. Or at least give them the, hey, we got to talk about this. But either way, here's what I think. And no one's going to like this, but I think Trey Lance's 2017, 2017? I think he's 2017 Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a year away from lighting the league on fire, if you want my honest, brutal opinion. I think Trey Lance is literally 1 year away from lighting the league on fire and being like Patrick Mahomes in the NFC. And I think that should terrify a lot of people. But what I will say, to kind of give you guys a little bit of a good note, because I know there's a lot of Rams fans here, what I will say is that here's how it works, all right? You got Stafford in the NFC. If Rodgers and Brady are gone, it's Stafford, Kyler. You got Trey Lance if he emerges the way I say he will. Russell Wilson may or may not be with Seattle. Justin Fields is a question mark. We'll see. I think he could be really good, but we'll see. Kirk Cousins might go to the Browns. Who knows? And then you have Jared Goff. And then you have Dak Prescott. Question mark in Washington. Daniel Jones with the Giants. I think Daniel Jones is a player to watch out for. And I know that sounds kind of funny, and I'm not kidding. If Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, all those guys, they get an opportunity with Brian Dable. If he becomes the head coach, I think Daniel Jones will take that next step. Because I think he'll turn Daniel Jones into a Josh Allen light. They have kind of a similar skill set. Obviously, Josh Allen with a way better arm. But I think that mobility, he'll figure out a way to use it. And I do think that, he's not somebody to just sleep on. And then, Jalen Hurts with Philly. And then the Saints, you have no idea who's going to be the quarterback. Jameis Winston, maybe. Taysom Hill's going to be out for the start of the season, it sounds like. And Trevor Siemian, no. If Brady's gone, it would either be Blaine Gabbert or what's his face? Kyle Trask, if the season ended, like right now, if they had to start a guy tomorrow. Sam Darnold in Carolina or PJ Walker. I mean, if Falcons, Matt Ryan, or maybe Ryan Tannehill joins up with Arthur Smith. But do you see my point here? NFC doesn't have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. I'll tell you, Lamar Jackson. I mean, I'll tell you right now, Trevor Lawrence, if he works out, the Rams, the NFC lucked out, man. If Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers leave, and God forbid if Aaron Rodgers goes to the AFC, the quarterback play in the NFC isn't going to be anywhere near as good as the AFC. And at that point, in the NFC, if Brady and Rodgers leave, there's nobody better than Matthew Stafford in the NFC. Nobody. You can say Dak Prescott maybe, but Dak Prescott needs to win some playoff games before I say that. Yes, I can throw around the playoff game thing because, Stafford just did it twice. Sorry. So, I just realized that the ticker is totally off, and, oh well, no one pointed it out to me. Actually, I think someone did earlier, but I'm going to change it anyway because I have OCD about it. There we go. Yeah, but really though, to be honest with you, it's not even trying to be biased. Who would you take over Matthew Stafford if Brady and Rodgers are out of the NFC? Who? I love Trey Lance. He's a question mark. We don't know. I could be absolutely wrong about Trey Lance. I could be wrong about Justin Fields. I mean, Dak Prescott is the only one that you could even think would be in the same conversation. Think about that. It's funny. I know this was supposed to be a Q&A, but man, you guys gave me so many great ideas. I started rolling on that NFL thing. I'd say Kyler's 3, but I mean, Mike Myers definitely thinks we ain't done yet. He's got the hat on, everything. I don't think it's disrespectful of Stafford to compare him to Dak. I think they're both very good, but, Kyler Murray needs to prove himself, It's weird because, there are Browns fans out there that, want to replace Baker with, Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm like, well, in what way is that conducive to winning football? I just don't. So you're going to get a limited guy you're going to get rid of the limited guy with mobility for a limited guy with less mobility. What are we doing here? I just don't get it. I mean, I'll be honest. The league is going to be different because it's not. Here's the thing, okay? We don't know where Cousins will end up. We don't know where Carr will end up. Tannehill, all of those guys. But on top of it, and I'm not a huge fan of this draft class, but I do like this draft class. I like Carson Strong. I love Desmond Ridder. I like Kenny Pickett. Matt Corral. I'm not a big fan of Sam Howell, but we'll see. And Malik Willis, I like him. We'll see where those quarterbacks go. Because one of those quarterbacks is going to end up being something. At least one. Right now, I'd put my money on it being Desmond Ridder. I think Ridder is going to end up being the best of all of them. That's why he's QB1 for me at the moment right now. But, I just think that it's so hard to predict. I mean, I don't think anybody thought, we'd be talking about Burrow in the AFC Championship game in his second year coming off a torn ACL, but here we are. Oddly enough, if you told me Jimmy Garoppolo was playing Stafford in the NFC title game, I would not have been shocked in the slightest. But if you told me preseason, you saw you saw the future, and you said it's Patrick Mahomes versus Joe Burrow, I would have been like, really? Good for Burrow, man. Happy for him. But what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's coming off a torn ACL. No one is going to predict him to go to the Super, like he's one game away from going to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow off a torn ACL. I don't know, man. I don't know. But like I said, this is, regardless of what happens, Rams and 49ers, that's going to be a heated rivalry. It is renewed. It is not one to be slept on. I think the Rams win this weekend. I think the Rams end up winning the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, but we will see. Any final thoughts before I go? This has been a pretty awesome stream. As you can tell, the throat is not 100% intact, but it is better than yesterday. We're over 1,300 views, so appreciate that. And everyone that donated, appreciate you guys. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. We're almost at 100 likes. Would love to get over 100 before I head on out of here. But I'm going to head on out of here soon because I do need to save my voice. Because I can see it. It's starting to kind of drag. So, let's see. There we go. Over 100 likes. Guys, really do appreciate you. If you want, you can check out our merchandise for the channel. I will drop that in the... I'll actually pin it right now. The shirt, $18.99 on sale, 15% off, limited time only. You can go over to Spreadshop and pick up the Big Four Jake Ellenbogen men's t-shirt. There's also a men's hoodie, a color mug, and stickers. So be sure to go do that. On top of it, here is the Discord channel. Nolan already knew where I was going with that one. And you can join our Discord channel as well, where people are nonstop talking about the LA Rams. If you find yourself wanting to nonstop talk about the Rams in a 24/7 public group chat, actually private technically, join that. It's a free Discord. You don't have to pay or anything like that. But again, appreciate you guys supporting the channel as always. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and I'm signing off until next time. You guys can check out our Downtown Rams podcast. Alexis and I did our reaction to the Rams and 49ers, Rams Bucks game. I'll be having Alexis on Saturday. We'll have Blaine Grisak on at some point this week. We'll have some other people on. So, be sure to keep it here for all your Rams content. Be sure to keep it here for all your football content. Be sure to keep it here for all your Jake Ellenbogen content, because if somebody does take my video and just rebroadcast it on theirs, please report them. But that's going to be it. So appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. You know it, but continue to be the best. Be good people, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take it easy.